And we're live with the second episode of the Rapper's Corner. What's up, you guys? I'm here today with a very special guest, longtime homie, Johnny Warbux. What's up, homie?
What's going on, everybody? How we doing today, huh? We good? We good?
Great.
What's up?
No.
So we got Kalishnikov, we got Saprov, and we got Johnny Warbucks. I'm gonna give Johnny Warbucks a little bit of an intro due to the fact that like me and him go back to God knows when. So I met I went to school with Johnny. We were in sixth grade, but we didn't really talk much. And then we were in different circles. So as time went by, we both went to the same middle school as well. And as time went by, we got to like, what was it, like ninth grade?
Yeah, in the ninth, like mid-ninth grade, yo.
Yeah, so like up until like ninth grade, he hung out with his people, I hung out with my people. And one of our mutual friends was like, "Hey, man," because I was Mr. Rapper, so he was like, "Yo, check this guy out." And I already knew him, like I said, previous in sixth grade, so like I knew who he was, but I had no idea that he flowed the way he did, or that he flowed just in period, just in general. So then I remember him spitting in front of me, and I was like, I didn't show it to nobody. I was just like, yeah, it's whatever's.
Yeah, I remember that.
But like I thought, this guy has skill. This guy really has skill, and the reason I say that is because I've never met anybody that can flow like him. And even to this day, like I still haven't met anybody that can flow like him. So
much love.
So that's how and he was with me and him. We did things together prior to me really getting any like legit like behind the mic studio thing. So John was like my stepping stones, I guess. We were both each other's stepping.
No doubt.
And we both through him, like I would practice, we would meet up every weekend and just spit flows, two instrumentals of like anybody that would Killer Army, DJ Shadow, The Firm, all that stuff. So like, we used to just spend our Friday nights just doing that. And then my boy Sir Puff hits me up, and then that's when that happens. So when that happens, I try to open the door up for like all my prior friends that were still doing music too, and that through that Johnny Warbucks was able to get down, make some tracks, get onto the studio, and now we're here.
Oh, man.
So yeah, that's
it's funny because when you're talking about that retrospect of first linking up, right? I mean, I was writing stuff, but it was like low key, like biting a bunch of like West Coast rappers and talking about gangster stuff. But I mean, I was already developing that sort of more rapid, choppy flow. A lot of people call it chopper flow nowadays, or even like rudimentary, like what would become like sort of the universal triple sound that like a lot of mumble rap cats do nowadays. But at the time, we didn't have like the internet like that. We had internet, but not like that. And so one thing I was doing is I was a studier. Like I loved listening to music, but I liked studying it. I wanted to, I remember, I was a big fan of Bone Thugs and Harmony. And I remember at one point somebody was like, "Why do you listen to this if you don't understand what they're saying?" And that like really like triggered something in me, a spark where I was like, no, I'm going to know what they're saying. And I'm going to be able to recite it to you. And so that was where the rehearsal of that rapid fire flow came from, was like cats like, Bone Thugs, 3-6 Mafia, and like studying their stuff. I would print out the records, like the bars, the verses. And I had a folder, like this giant folder of just any rapper, just learning all of the music. And so that was when our connect, like that was what happened. He brought me to Kalishnikov and was like, "Yo, man, this dude's a big hip hop head. Check this out. Just check out this folder he has. Just look at this folder."
I remember.
And I walk into the lunchroom, and this is where you were real quiet too, like because I mean, we had passed, like you said, we've seen each other 6th, 7th, 8th, all the way through, right? But it's this moment where it was like almost like an initiation, trying to like, entertain a friendship that may have never happened. And so this dude brings me over to him, and we're in the middle of lunch. You're in the gold room, sitting there like a mafia don. You just got a whole bunch of people in the circle, and you just sit there quietly like you run everything. I remember being like mad intimidated by that. And I roll up and I pass my folder to him and I start chatting. I'm like, yeah, see, I got some Cypress Hill in there. I got some Dr. Dre in there, some Snoop, Coolio, like all this stuff. And I remember him like looking through this thing and just like skimming through and seeing the names, and he spots like, some Big Daddy Kane in there. And he's like, well, Razcats, who's that? And he's like looking through it all. And I remember him going, yeah, man, that's what's up. And he passes it back to me, and I walked away, and I was like, what the hell? I was like, is this guy think I'm a tool or what? You know what I'm saying? Like, am I corny because I like collect verses? And then it was after that where we then were like, hey, we should meet up and like really talk music, write, listen to some stuff, maybe do some freestyles or just try to like record verses. I remember meeting you up at what the time was, I think it was by then a Blockbusters. I think it had become a Blockbusters by then. I remember meeting up with you, and you were sitting out there just like posted up, leg up on the wall, just big ass pants. I'm probably still wearing a Che Guevara shirt even then, and like just posted, right? And I just remember being like, yo, man, I really appreciate this opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is really cool what you're doing here. And you're like, yeah, man, it's whatever, man. I was like, still just like stone cold. We get to the house, and that's when I was like, here's some of the verses. And even then, he was like, all right, that's what's up, man. That's nice. It's nice. Whatever. I don't even remember what I spit. I wish I had that folder with me right now and start reciting some of the old stuff. But I remember you just still even then being like, all right, that's what's up. That's what's up. Not knowing in the back of his head, he was like, what the fuck? This dude is nice.
You can't put it all on the table at once.
Nah, man, I get it. I mean, meanwhile, I'm just like, love me. Accept me for who I am. Yeah.
So yeah, no, like we used to, prior to me meeting with Sir Puff, I mean, the way we used to make music was really rudimentary, and like literally tape.
We had tapes, 2 cassette tapes and a dual karaoke machine.
We had to split,
I remember that because I've been to John's house, and I remember him showing me like what you guys were working on, and asked me some questions about editing it with his little waveform thing and the tape.
The waves weren't there yet.
That was a little later. Okay.
That was definitely later. I mean, at best, the internet allowed me to print lyrics and pictures.
But I do remember your little boombox with like a little tape recorder thing.
And it had like a little like case just full of tapes, right?
That's how we did it. So we used to cut the tape from the actual tape from another tape, take that piece, put it onto this tape it up with actual tape, and then play that. So you'd have something like
an instrumental.
Well, no, you would have more. I mean, yeah, that's how we would loop things, but we also did like, you have like I rap like this and I rap like that. Because a matter of fact, I'm cool like that. And then like all of a sudden you get like Ice Cube saying, bitch, it's curtain.
It's what record?
And then you go into like, like going back to sorry, I got a little notification here. But going back to the actual rap. So that's how rudimentary. I mean, this is the love, the passion, the hunger that like we possessed when we were doing this, because like we had no other way. And that's the beauty of hip hop. And you go back to hip hop, the records, you know what I mean? Like, how do you make loops? How do you, it was necessity brings about, creativity, I guess. I don't know.
No, it's facts, man. I mean, I remember out of desperation, right? We would go to Sam Goody's The Wall, and we would find singles that had the instrumental version of those singles. Mm-hmm. And we would just spit over like pop records that were accessible, nothing but a G thing or something like that, whatever we could get our hands on. But when we couldn't, I remember distinctly this one song, and I think I called it Mind Trap, and I might have recorded it with somebody else. But what I did was I took Wu-Tang from the Forever album, and I want to say the song is called Severe Punishment. It's got that dun-dun-dun-dun.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so in that intro, they don't say anything. And so I took it, and I recorded it on a separate tape, just that one piece. And then I took it onto the other part of the tape and literally re-recorded it and stopped, record, cut, and paste like we were doing. And I would do it for 3 minutes. And so the instrumental was super basic because it was just the one part, but we had a whole beat.
Yeah.
And I'd cut it for as long as we need to. Then we record on the one tape, and then we would take that tape and put it on the other one, get a brand new tape, and do ad libs over it and just like
Yeah.
keep repeating stuff over it.
Yeah.
And so each recording that we did back in the day, and I think this is where we really honed our talents because nobody else was really having to do it this way. They were live performances. So if we did a song together and we get to your last verse and you slip up, we have to re-record the whole fucking thing from the beginning and be like, all right, we got to get to this. We got to nail this part. We got to nail this part. And me, because I do all this fast shit, there'd be parts where I'm like, and be like, fuck, I messed up. Guys, hold on. We got to start it over. The whole record. Jesus. Yo. And that's why those are like records that, like, if I go back and listen to them, I'm like, damn, man, we really were doing something fucking cool, you know?
We were, man. That's one of the things that I feel like, because if you think about it, all right, so it's kind of debatable, but we can say that hip hop now is 40. No, wait.
I mean, 70, 78, 79?
79, 78, right? So you got like 82. I was born in 82, so that's 40 years old right there. So let's say it's like almost 45, let's say 46.
God, it's amazing to think.
Right. So then like the beauty of it is that like we grew up listening to, I mean, I remember my first like introduction to hip hop was Tone Loc.
That's cool.
Tone Loc, it was Funky Cold Medina and Wild Thing. And I was like, yo, that's tight how they do that shit. Like, how are they like talking and like the music is like it's repeating, but it's captivating. You know what I mean? So like I would consider myself third generation hip hop. You know what I mean? I think like up until because you had like the 80s, the 90s, and then now you have the 2000s. So I think if you started at 70, this would be my generation would be third generation hip hop. That's one thing that I can say that I shared with first generation hip hop, which was creating something out of literally
nothing,
fucking heads. You know what I mean? Like we had no computers, we had none of this. You know, now you look at like I mean, even what we're doing right now it's amazing technologically speaking.
Yeah.
So it's like
you do it all from right here, dog. You do it from the phone and
but
punch stuff in and edit it and add sound effects there.
But you do lose some things too with it as well. You know,
That's true. That's a good point. I mean,
you
as you guys know, I've
heads are
always
out
been
there
using hardware. You know,
when heads are doing
different.
when heads are out there auto tuning shit so that their voice sounds like cool. You know, like we had to like just do it right. And if we,
I mean, no, I mean it's one thing to auto tune a backup or an ad lib, but to auto tune the whole
it's fucking irritating as shit. It's the worst, man.
All right.
But I guess what I'm getting at is that like we can punch in. So like if I fuck up one bar, I'm gonna be like, hold on, just erase that, and I'll sing along with the record and sing through it, erase the parts I don't need, and you would not be any wiser that I've done this 45 times, which I don't do.
Yeah. Back in the day, okay, they had punch-ins. You would want to do one take because you could punch in like on a recording on a tape track, like eight. You know, I used to have the 8-track.
I remember the 8-tracks, man.
And like, yeah, you could punch in, but like literally punching in, like you can hear it as opposed to listening. Like, you can tell they punched in. But now it would be like virtually impossible as long as they were like good enough to sound the way they sound. You know.
Yeah, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. To the untrained ear, even to the trained ear, like it's sometimes like, wait, is that you know?
That's a smooth punch, and I think it was, or it could have just been maybe a little in his voice, you know. But whatever, you know.
No.
Change with that, or
there's certain records I'll listen to and be like, damn, that dude did that shit from the beginning of the verse all the way down in one breath. That's impressive.
Yeah, you can tell.
But you can tell if they're like, you know, when they click in there, they're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
He's spitting that too early. Like, there's no way he did. He had to take a breath.
The voice changes a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. The volume changes.
Your energy changes.
The energy changes. That's
because you're doing it for the 5th or the 6th time or whatever.
Yeah, it's not the same as the first time. And as you can tell, like John has had some experience, well, a lot of experience with actually recording on the mic, and that's something that like Amin, which is Sir Puff, has taught me. Like, and it's a whole different. Like, it's not like writing, and it's not like making a beat. It's its own. You have to actually advance in that as well as like advancing in your writing and advancing in your music making. This is a department that's completely different. So like you have to learn how you use your breath and stuff like that. It's you know, John knows what he's talking about. Me and we all know what we're talking about. We've been making music, man. All you guys, like, just if you don't know, we've been making music for about 30 years. You know
It's
what I mean?
wild, man. This is wild, man.
Like,
I
so
want to say like 97. I've been doing it like since 97. I know you started earlier. I was a late bloomer.
I started 6th grade writing lyrics. I mean,
Yeah, I was in the 9th grade for me.
They weren't anything, they were ABC 1, 2, 3.
I've technically started when I was 12 making my own music with
That's dope.
With that drum machine I showed. Remember that black drum machine I had? I had also some stuff that when
Dude, I remember those drum kits, man. I just been thinking that didn't understand what the hell I was looking at either.
Yeah, it's like a different language.
Like, it's like a keyboard, but it's not. And it's like you're like hitting this thing. You're like, here, so I got a snare here, right? I'm gonna loop this, and I'm gonna hit this other thing. It's a hi hat, and I gotta add this. And then you like pick some like little thing, and it's just like wah, wah, wah. It just create like a beat out of thin air, dude. Yeah, dude, I love those kits. I never got a chance to play with them. Sound engineering, like, I mean, my old music, I was the one that recorded it. I was the one that cleaned it up. I was the one that punched in samples.
Did it for me too, Like,
you know what I mean?
I didn't know none of that shit. Like,
I love that, man.
Yeah. I do know this though, that Chris and I have been doing music for 25 years together, like solid recording. And we did one with you, going back that far.
God, man, we talking about worldwide recognition?
Yes.
Yeah.
Man.
We could.
That was my first time in a real. That was my first time in a real studio. Like, we did worldwide recognition, and then I did that one verse and then we met that cat Damien, and he did a little freestyle. It was off the charts. But I do remember, like, and you as the producer would be like, hold on, change your cadence here. Put a little bit more energy. I want to hear it raw here. Do this, that, and that was my first time, because like when you just record on your own shit, you're just doing what you do, and to have somebody to be like, it'd be nicer if you kind of approached it this way, or I want to hear it like this. And I mean, I'm only 5'9", but like sometimes worldwide recognition, both and Kalishnikov too. You were shorter dude. But both of us on that record sound like we're like 8 feet tall, just crushing buildings. It's such a great record, and it doesn't. That sound was off of your influence and your insight and your input, right? Because you hear my other stuff, and a lot of my stuff is more nasal, more hard, like sing-songy, a little more whiny, just obnoxious.
Yeah. No.
Which we'll hear one of those today, I think.
Yeah, we could play it later.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Nah, so I guess we, because we got to be, for the sake of the podcast, we have to go on.
Go to the questions.
Yeah.
On to the questions.
Yeah. Let's jump into some questions here that I got for.
Let the questions begin.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing that I do for the podcast, and I ask questions to all the guests, and we cater the questions to them. So, for instance, if we have producers, it'll be more producer orientated than MC orientated. So, this is I don't have a name for it yet. I got to think of like a name to like the hip hop questions or
yeah.
What it is it's consistent. So you'll see a lot of it, like you said, catered. So in general, this is like the interview section with the questions that we always ask.
Basically. So
let's get to know Johnny Warbux better.
Here we go.
All right.
So what do you got for me?
What got you into hip hop?
Okay, so it's funny. I was kind of trying to think back to how this all went down, because I was the nerd. I was the guy who was like, instead of rhyming as fast as possible, I was trying to learn how to type as fast as possible. Video game head.
I didn't want to say nothing, but in 6th grade, this guy spent most of his time in the computer lab.
Dude, I was learning how to create my own programs, man. Like, I had created a calculator. I had created using like Paradox and 3.0. That's an old one, man. There's a couple like QBasic, and I was learning how to do all that stuff. I was really into video games, and I think like, and no pun here intended, but yeah, into my Genesis, of those gaming era. I was I was corny. I mean, you could cut that if you want, but like I'm sitting there, loving video game music. And so back in the day with like that exact same setup, I was recording music from video games. I'd go to like a certain part of the game and I would record it, and I'd have a cassette tape full of what at the time I didn't realize what I was really getting into, but was instrumentals, right? And so I'm really, really digging this. And a lot of this stuff was, since it was the 90s, a lot of it had that sort of like techno dance, pop and hip hop kind of range to some rock and roll in there, and didn't really listen to music like that, And I was, my family is a Southern Baptist, retired military family. And I used to go to this church, and we had a youth group meeting that happened on Wednesdays. And sometimes heads would show up early and like would just like play music or whatever. And somebody plays Coolio's Gangster's Paradise. Now, let me say, I had heard music. Like everybody knew who Snoop Doggy Dogg was by that time. He was like the Michael Jackson of flipping rap back in the day. And I had heard stuff on the radio, but I wasn't paying attention or really caught onto it. I'm in this church and I hear Gangster's Paradise, and you hear that choir and you hear that beat and just that opening set of bars as I walk through the valley in the shadow of death. I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. I was like, what? This is dead serious. This is so cool. And I just fell in love with it. And I immediately was like, I gotta go get this album. And I went and got the Gangster's Paradise album. I was telling one of my friends, like, this is like the hardest thing I have ever. This is like really like entertaining stuff. And a friend of mine was like, you think that goes hard? Here's Snoop Doggy Dogg's Doggy Style. Check this out. And just the immediate flip of like the bug caught on and dove directly into West Coast. At the time that was Death Row Records, and I picked up everything. There's not an album I didn't have that came out of their catalog that I studied and absolutely adored. And
say that like at the beginning, West Coast was the one that influenced you.
Yo, I mean, honestly, you got Coolio was the first song, right? Mm-hmm. And honestly, what people don't realize is through Coolio, like that Gangsta's Paradise album, you got features from Dub C.
Yeah.
So I'm getting introduced to Mad Circle. Yeah. You got Razkaz on that record.
I do. And the Raz.
And I remember he had said some crazy bar about like basically disintegrating somebody, and all that's going to be left is like a couple of teeth fillings, and a reversible Louis Vuitton Gucci belt, whatever. It was like such a crazy bar. I was like, who is this guy? And then I get the Soul on Ice album, I was watching like I think BET or Rap City, one of those, and Razkaz was promoting that album, and he was promoting Raz Assassination, but he.
You say Razkaz is your first album then?
No, my first album was Coolio's Gangster's Paradise, and then the very next album with my own money from the wall, had my lifetime guarantee sticker, which is of no use anymore. I got Dr. Dre's Aftermath. Because I had heard East Coast Killer, West Coast Killer. Once again, unbeknownst to me, I'm starting to divide up into all this other stuff, because that one record had Be Real on it, had KRS-One and Nas.
Yeah.
And all the other guys from post Death Row and some of the newer stuff, and so it just started like webbing out little by little.
That's the beauty of hip hop. It definitely webs out. You know what I mean?
Webs out. And people just don't realize how deep it goes. And for at that time, it was really like I'm studying a catalog. Like if I'm into this Death Row thing, I'm getting all of it. I hear a Tupac record, and then boom, I'm getting all of it. And so I'm going to the back in the days and start getting that old school stuff, which at the time was still kind of golden era. So like, old school at the time was NWA, like the very first records that heads like Tupac put out or whatever. Bone Thugs and Harmony I got into, and then like the rest of it just like went.
Yeah, it webs out. It definitely webs out. So then, what would you say is like one of your first memories of hip hop?
That Coolio story at that church was hands down one of the biggest memories. But I also remember, this one time I was at my house. There was this kid that I used to roll with. His name was David, and David, he was a good buddy of mine, and he was a big hip hop head too. And I was just listening to music, and I decided to write something. And I wrote a verse that I thought was just dope. And I let my friend read it, and he's like, "This is honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. This is actually surprisingly kind of good." And I was like, "Thanks." And so then the next thing I do is like, I want to hear it on a record, and I had an instrumental, and I record it, and me rapping this verse, and I knew he already thought the verse was good.
Yeah.
And so I just knew right away he was going to hear this and be like, "Yo, that's really cool, man." And he laughs his ass off. Just started laughing super hard. He was like, "Dude, I said it. The verse was good, but like, what the hell are you doing? You sound ridiculous. You can't rap. Like, what are you fucking doing, dude?" And I remember being so defeated. Like, what the fuck, man? I thought I had something there. And I just was like, "Nah, man. I'm gonna keep writing, man. I'm gonna keep doing it." And the further down that rabbit hole we got, I mean, I remember like years later, we're at some house party, and that dude shows up, and I hadn't seen him in forever. And we were doing a freestyle cipher. I don't remember who I was freestyling with. All I remember was him being in that room, and he looked fucking stunned, like he had like discovered like Jesus Christ himself. Like he was just so blown
Maybe
away.
it was me.
I don't remember where we were. It was some house party, dog.
I'd be like, maybe it was me, lurker.
Yeah. He was in the. I just seen him over here at the spot just a second ago. The guy's wandering all over the place. He's half working today. But yo, it was that one's a strong one for me. I remember.
That's a nice memory. Like, you know, you can look back and be like, he thought it was tight, and then years later he heard it again. It was like, it's like the whole thing around the circle. I'm gonna skip around with a lot of these questions because some of these questions you're already answering with that you already give. So I will say, like, what besides this right now that we're doing, like, what besides this hip hop have you done in this last like week?
Something that is hip hop.
Yeah, it could be.
What's the most hip hop thing I did this week?
Yeah.
Well, okay. I mean, it's early on in development, but so I work for a distillery up in Percival, Virginia. It's called Catoctin Creek. It's a the Virginia Rye whiskey trademark. And I was yeah right here. Hey. Woo. That's good stuff. Good stuff.
And
like
I've had that. It's smooth.
Yeah, that's hopefully that's what people will. That's what I like hearing people say about it. Anyways, they're like, this is really smooth, man. And it's really, really good. I'm not going to go into a whole spiel about this right now, but like what happened is I'm their sales manager for the state of Virginia, and what I do is I go and I create activations. I create like entertainment things, like do happy hours or dinners, build relationships with restaurants and bars and ABC stores and stuff like that. And so the most hip hop thing in my human life, like just me as a regular person that I've done this week is I've created an event that I'm doing in Alexandria at this place called People's Drug, and we're doing a Wu-Tang Wednesday. I have this it's at the ending of the month. Shoot, I don't have the date right now. I could share that with y'all. But what's up?
Okay.
So the idea here. Oh, you got the shirt. Yeah, and that's the other hip hop thing we're doing, right? We're gonna go see the Woo. We're gonna go see the Woo this weekend, right? This Friday.
Awesome. It's gonna be awesome,
dude. I can't wait. We got Woo there. We got Nas. I hear there's a special guest with Busta Rhymes.
Yep.
But okay, Wednesday, September 21st, 5 to 10, over at the People's Drug. That's in Alexandria. It's a cocktail bar. Another hip hop head, the guy who owns the place, his name's John Schott. And John Schott is all like we hit it off because his bar, he plays like old school, like dope hip hop music. Like I first walk in and I think De La Soul was playing. I was like, this is like the best bar in the city. This is fucking cool. But like, so we always had talked about taking like these cocktails or not these cocktails, but these drinks that you hear in hip hop records and like doing modern, like pinkies up, like fancy renditions, like cocktails based on those drinks. And so like for example, one of them is a brass monkey, right? That's your 40 ounce with the orange juice. Shout out Beastie Boys, that funky monkey, monkey chunky. We're going to basically take like malt and we're going to like turn it down. We're going to like condense it down into a syrup, right? And we're gonna have basically like an orange cordial that we're gonna make in house. And so basically, it's gonna be like this really fancy like sipping cocktail that's inspired by Brass Monkey. And we're doing Wu-Tang Wednesday, and we already got a whole bunch of different ideas there, man. We're gonna like do something inspired off of like cream.
That's really
Like,
cool, man.
Yo, yeah, I'm excited about that. So that's that. I mean, that is hip hop. You know, taking cultures, embracing them, and sharing them in an honorable and respectful way. We're not playing around like poking fun at it. We're bringing it into what we do as a booze industry, as a bar industry, as a liquor industry, and finding a way to make something cool like that. You know. So I'm excited about that. That's probably like the most hip hop thing I've done in my personal.
Of like KRS-One, somebody they asked him like something about the elements of hip hop, and he said, and everybody knows what the elements are, but like
everybody.
Well, okay, not everybody, but anybody that listens to the show. But that what he said was like it's a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. That was another part of the element was fashion and lifestyle, right?
It's lifestyle because like you work at what you work in, but you still incorporate hip hop into what you work in. And it's a beautiful thing when that could be done. As adults now, as who we men that we are today, like we still have that connection with our youth through like incorporating hip hop into our everyday lives. You know what I mean? And that's the thing.
Yeah.
So that would lead me to some more other questions here. What would you say is your favorite era in hip hop?
Oh man, 90s flat, just flat, like from 1990 to 2000. But I'd push it as far as going 88 to 2002, maybe 2003. That whole pocket is just one. It's just like what we grew up with, and so Nas, Wu-Tang, Snoop. These guys were being played on the radio. We were listening to. I remember when Gravel Pit came out, and then you had the music video, and you could hear it in your car when Biggie did that record with Bone Thugs and Harmony, Notorious Thugs.
Oh,
I know that's like one of my favorites, dude. That was one of the first ones I tried to study, and shout out to Biggie for being like one of the first cats to like just hop on a record with an artist and like taking on that persona, right? There he was like, they rap fast, I'm gonna rap fast. He was like the first one to do it. That year, I remember that year, like Nas, Jay-Z, I'm trying to think who else. Almost everybody who put out a record that year had one song, even Be Real on Cypress Hill 4 or Audio X, where they're rapping fast. Like they all were like, we can do that too. We can do that too. But Biggie did it first. Well, Bone did it first, but Biggie did it first.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you, but my
you bring it in a little bit, right? You're like 92 to 98.
Well, no, I would go from I mean, I literally would go from like 88, 89, like 90, 98 is okay. Look. I know a lot of great artists came out with a lot of great songs post 98. 98 and forward, yes. But to say my favorite era, and this is no disrespect to any MCs that came out with some tight stuff from 98 forward, but my favorite era ended at 98. So like, and there are songs and pockets of songs throughout the time that I'm like, yo, I'll die for that motherfucker. I'll die for that song. But my influence, my world, my everything, 88, 89 to like 98. After when, and the reason I say 98 is because like, and I started actually seeing it in 98, and I started seeing where like hip hop started becoming more, and it's good and bad. It's good and bad, but more accepted in society. And I say it's good and bad because like the technology and stuff, you do lose things. You know what I mean? Like at one point, hip hop was always party and feel good, but it was at the same time very like real. Like this is what's happening right now. You know what I mean? Like
the message.
We have to fight the power. We have to go against what's happening, and I guess that's what got me into become very, like politically motivated with my hip hop, which leads me to another one of another question here is, what would you say is your biggest inspiration as an MC? Now,
My
know that through time that changes, but who inspired you, not who influenced you?
the one that sparked the plug for me. Oh man. The bug was birthed through Coolio, right? But I think it almost has to go like Razkaz, dude. It's hard to say because this is a guy who he was saying some things that I think a lot of people uh, that look like me would take like heavy offense to. But as an artist, this guy was doing things verbally I had never heard anybody do. You know what I mean? Like ever. So like I'm trying to think of like one specific. I remember one record where he's just is like in the middle of a bar, and then the bar stops making sense because he's like saying the words, but he apparently had taken an entire sentence, and he's like, "Sounds like voodoo straps come back to better to you." Oh, sorry, verbal dyslexic. And then he comes back and says the bar the way you're supposed to spit it.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yo, that is crazy!" And or he would do like alliteration, or he would do a lot of hey, I'm gonna like you have that one song on Earth as it is in heaven where he's just like rapping, about biblical stuff, and it's from the beginning to the end, and the whole concept still tied into like street and him coming up. And I just remember being, and then the historical stuff with Nature of the Threat, where like he like sat down and studied to
So,
like to
so
make that record.
real quick, I gotta put this out there. I didn't know Razkaz. I didn't grow up with Razkaz. I didn't listen to Razkaz. When I first heard of Razkaz was through Johnny here, and he's through the first song that I heard from Razkaz was "Nature of a Threat."
That's crazy. That's the first one you got.
What's really ironic is that it was from John.
Yeah.
Some radical political guy. It was from John,
the evil of the white man, but I mean it's
colonizer.
colonizer.
The beauty of it. That's what's hip hop. That is what's hip hop. So Puff, me and Johnny here, we're three different like cultures.
Oh, yeah.
And like and that's the beauty of the world that we live in. Yes, like at certain times and so on and so forth, it's been, more dominated by, but everybody's always been included. You know what I mean?
In
And
hip hop, yeah, everyone's included.
you go,
From day one, man.
Everybody all around the world, even
Be-
rappers who speak their own language in other countries.
it's outside of the United States, and that's such a that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying,
it's
like
huge.
to have this whatever that. There were graffiti artists, there were
breakdancing.
dancers, there were everybody from like even the way people talk to allow other people to hear what the words of hip hop was. So I'm saying it's like yeah, so it's interesting because like you didn't I was expecting you to say Eminem.
Eminem. I mean, look. I mean, so and that's the tricky part.
Inspiration.
So this is a tricky part because again, Coolio was the spark, but it was crazy. It was Bone Thugs and Harmony where I was like, I need to study.
Yeah, I remember Bone Thugs being your thing.
It was a huge
It wasn't
part of me.
Eminem. You were like Chris says, we haven't met anybody like you, and he's right because like bar for bar, like and rhyme for skill for skill, at the same time, even though this guy is even older than you, like you guys got the same skill. Like you could have
Oh
been
man.
Eminem if you were just his age instead of you being your age.
I think what I needed was a proper push. We were he has a song called Airplanes with B.O.B. and he had mentioned something about him wishing like going back in time and just like what if I didn't work the way I did. And at one point he says some bar along the lines of, well, I never did shit. I never became anybody. I was looking up at the sky waiting for this opportunity to fall in my lap. And I was like, fuck, that's kind of what I did. Like we were making music and we were doing small moves, like going, doing the battles over at Zodiac House, Firehouse, doing some performances here and there. going and like just shopping around tapes to people and recording in studios. We were doing things, but I never rather like took that and was like, I need to go to music school. I need to go to like Berkeley or something. I need to go and get sound engineering under my belt where I can start networking with other people in this sort of this mindset and business. Like I kept it as local as physically possible, tried to use the internet and its very rudimentary stages, which weren't what it is today. Now you got people who are just like hopping up on TikTok and becoming famous overnight. Like they're making everything. They're making their own music. They're making their own shit. They're doing it all from their cell phones. And like we didn't have that opportunity, and I kind of that's a little like personal.
Yeah, we used to have to freaking do this, press our own CDs like this, and and put this kind of stuff out ourselves. You know what I mean?
That's our CD, by the way. Koga Monks.
Yeah, Koga Monks, man. That's a fire album.
Yeah, 2000.
But like so like with
baby.
So with like the studying thing, like I was training through Bone Thugs and Harmony how to rap, like how to carry those harmonies and those like rapid fire bars. But you're right, like Eminem. I mean, guys. I mean, if we look up some old photos, like I mean, I had the blonde hair. I was walking around with like the white the tank tops and shorts. The drug scene, like getting involved in all that stuff. I never had any fallouts with like my parents wanting to kill anybody like that. But like, that's so I get it. Like Eminem is definitely was and is a massive influence on me as a writer and as a concept thinker. A lot of people, people, even the people that loved him from the beginning, a lot of people hate him now, man.
I'm talking about the talent, though. Your talent is.
Oh yeah, word. No, I appreciate that, dude.
It's equal in talent. It's just like timing's everything too. Like that's what I'm saying. He's older. Mm-hmm. He was in a time and place like where you were still having to be in high school and going to school.
Mm-hmm. He dropped out of like what, 9th grade?
Well, he might have done what he did, but it was still like before. Like we could go out and do it ourselves. Like
one can never
say like Cypress and
like
Chris and me.
It's like
10 years earlier than us as timing.
Like we as a group, like me and Sir Puff, like we were inspired by Cypress, and it was like, well, at the time when we were starting to make music, we were like already men. And it was like around like late like 90s, early 2000s, and it's just wrong time, wrong place, wrong age.
How many times did you and I sit down and go, man, if we just like came out like 5 years, 10 years early, we would say that all the time. People think we're geniuses.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't control those things, but at the end of the day, like.
It's also because of our styles of what we like to make. So that's why, because it's 10 years like later, and we like doing that thing, but other people are starting to do new things.
Music had already evolved out, like
it's evolving in its way. Yeah, it was kind of weird at the time, Weird timing.
When you were talking about sort of the fall of it all, like I remember, and you were talking about how like the autotune and all that stuff is like has lost something. I think another attribute to that loss would be the heavy crossing over. I think crossing over really kind of damaged it too, because there was a time there where Method Man was doing songs with like Fred Durst.
I love the crossovers. Like
I like it too because I like music, and so like if I hear rock and roll, which was always there, but at the beginning it was because they needed to get their foot in the door, and in order to get into mainstream audiences, they had to go and utilize rock and roll to encourage people like maybe like me, I don't know, but to like get them to hear it. And so you have Run DMC with Aerosmith, with one of their biggest records at the time,
and that's
calling themselves the King of Rock,
But even then, okay, but like Run DMC, and this is also something that I'm like, because all right, like I personally don't. I like the idea of the crossovers between rock and rap, but
me too. I love all that stuff.
But I don't like the way that rock was when that happened. Like, I feel like if they did crossovers at the time of how rock was like in the 1970s and 80s, like
it would have been a lot cooler for sure.
Yeah, like some hardcore metal or some like,
or even the 80s stuff versus like 90s was different for rock too. Like they were going to metal and
but then it became new metal where they were taking where they were taking hip hop and incorporating it into the angrier evolution of grunge, right? Like it wasn't counterculture, but it was also, you know, the alternative to all the boy bands that were exploding at the time, you know.
So like I'm like, for me it would be like if like you get a rapper to rap on something like Rammstein or even, I mean that's the most current ones, but like that's
Tech Nine would kill that, I think, man.
Yeah, not like like Linkin Park and you know, Fred Durst and Korn. Like they could have gone so much more harder, so much more stronger. Like,
hey, I'm the one that started rap rock. I did before even those guys did.
and if you
I remember that record. You showed me that a long time ago.
and that's what I'm saying. If you listen to Crazy Comfortable Guy, that was such a hard ass song. That's why it was such a good song. Like, but you know, I just never got into it. It was like it lost it for me. Like I feel like that whole generation, like that's why I guess not necessarily why I would say it started dying, because that wasn't even part of it. It was more how like just it was more. Look, this isn't my interview. This is yours. So let's get back to that.
Yo, so speaking about that, gentlemen, we're gonna go ahead and do this now.
I say start with this one. I mean, look, I mean, if we're talking about Eminem and we're talking about Kaz and those type of cats, this is a record that 100% is obviously influenced by that kind of style. But this will give you some of that verbal gymnastics stuff.
I'll be right back, guys. Do your thing.
You know, he's gonna walk away right when the hottest part of the show starts.
That's all right, because we're gonna have.
What happened here? Hello? What have you done to me? Yo, where's everybody?
Wait, can you see me?
I can see you now, man.
Yeah.
The hottest part of the show is the show, you son of a bitch.
What do you want from me?
Man, bang this shit out. Let me turn my volume up, make sure I haven't heard this record in a long time. This is a good one.
All right, let me know if you can hear it, guys.
Okay.
Why do you think you got it all figured out? Yo, for those who don't know, my name is Johnny Warbux. Welcome to the zoo. The asylum sits. What you know about now? Just fuck around and let me back in. I'm the Jimi Hendrix of the rap, and taking acid, the purple haze, and crazy stabbing. Show the areas that they have in sexual relations. Claim it's old fashioned, maybe. Or call it a fox, lady fatal attraction. Insatiable passion for making the tracks, couple faces and asses. The human race and an ass called pace can explain it just happens. Jabbing an axe into your bathroom, you're laughing. Here's Johnny. Lights, camera, action. This cat's been out of the bag since crashing at my rinse pad. Maxing out of the pantry, the dove is my bedroom. A fat son. Ex-military Southern Baptist that's Pete talking back to every drug under the sun. Hit most of that shit under a mattress. That's skinny when they know me. Dildo was suburbia. Down the street from where I rested, our boy he was fucking murder, bruh. So I'ma do this with my hammer like you know where I've been. And where I'm headed, you better get ready to set it off and get it hype, man. Put them up. Put them way the fuck up. Have you figured it out? Get this to pop when you're up your nuts. You tuning in now, but take that hardcore stuff. It's that what? Get that Johnny Warbux. I said put them up. Like this is sick, put them up. It's like a boxing. Put them up. Virginia in the building till we earn into our cups. It's that what? That's a Johnny Warbux. Y'all figured it out? I'm the kid that's talking about. Walking around with my cock in the ground. Fucking the world while talking and spouting about nothing. Had lost up and off in the clouds. What is this noise? Turn all of it down. It's awfully loud. I'll make your eardrums pop with the steel of that splendidness. Better than Cerberus, ship on Johnny Warbux, ones and bitches. Show us who I've been since I've been given this eminence and intense ability to flip a sentence. I'm ripping it, it's these tidbits. With a spider on my side, it starts to spark up instruments. Witnesses, Mike and Marty strike ungodly while I'm eminence. And it's this sinister adrenaline, a minister and a wickedness. Which figures if we get this shit together, the better a chance of picking fences. Isn't this just some rag the richest fable? Does my English bring too many questions at breakfast duty table? His cockfighters awards was something politically inspired. Does Anthony's Weiner without an Oscar get admired? Get it, put him up, put him way the fuck up. Have you figured it out? Get this to pop when you're up your nuts. You tuning in now, but take that hardcore stuff. It's that what? Get that Johnny Warbux. I said put him up, like this is sick. Put him up. It's like we're boxing. Put him up. Virginia in the building till we earn into our cups. It's that what? That's a Johnny Warbux. Just put me top of the topics with bombs. We got some loss in the creek and concocting. Alcohol, the awkward, obnoxious. The raw got by the raw end of the deal like Paul Large Bronze bucket of salt pits. Hundreds of garbage, so don't test me, I right hate tough. Make it disappear like planes that came out the gate, shit from Malaysia. Taste the flavor of chasing straight up the asylum, surpassing today. Shout out to Econ skills. It's time to Nick. You're pissing me off, busters. I'm an around the clock hustler, usual suspects. Hand me the keys, you fucking cocksucker. DMV got them hot summers, chicken wings up a sauce cover. We ran trains on these dames and love to call me Johnny Conductor. Ugly duckling that was swan fucking. This every man's thrusting. A young preteen scream, just another Jerry Sandusky. That's pretty damn disgusting. Fuck it, check this Bouchelet. Take my advice, shorty. I don't use it anyway. Put 'em up. Put 'em way the fuck up. Have you figured it out? Get this to pop with your local nuts. You tuning in now, but take that hardcore stuff. It's that what? That's that Johnny Warbux. I said put 'em up. Like this is sick. Put 'em up. It's a boxing. Put 'em up. Put 'em up. Virginia in the building till we earn into our cups. It's that what? That's that Johnny Warbux.
Damn, son. Damn, that was man, that rocked the fucking party, man.
Yo, dude, I don't really do a lot of like amped up shit, but like this one, like I don't know why it always gets me, man.
I want to kick somebody's ass.
Yo, right? Like you're just on the way to something like where you're gonna like get in trouble. Yeah, that's funny as fuck. Yeah.
Nah, man. And how old were you when you did that?
Oh, okay. It was right before Anna was born, dog. God, what was that? 2013. She's turning 8 this Tuesday.
Wow.
So yeah, like maybe 9 or 10 years ago, man. Just about maybe 9 years. Like right before, dog.
Oh man, there you go. That's Johnny Warbux right there, man.
What?
Yeah. And what about this?
Okay, so the story, my story, 2000, 2001. One thing I got to mention about this album that's available on Bandcamp, and it's free. I'm a humble guy. I would love if anybody comes in and supports this. You know, if they throw some money at it, of course, I'd be appreciative. But if you just want to hear it, by all means, just go and enjoy it. But so I was trying to finish this album up, and at the time I was doing all my recordings at Stark House Studios with Nick Stark, and that's somebody that you guys might become acquainted with later. We'll see. But he, we were on a timing spree, and I wanted to have the record done before my daughter was born because I just knew that once Anna came, I was going to get really wrapped into my daughter and work and family and trying to balance all that where the recordings weren't going to necessarily, hit. And we missed the mark on it. And so there's a couple of records on this that are incomplete. And this is like a magnum opus. There's no hook here. This song is about some real shit that went down between 2000, 2001, just kind of my little life story. The mixing is not that great. I feel like the way certain parts were engineered, they don't necessarily sound like they're on the beat. The quality is not as good as what you just heard. But just try to listen to the bars, guys, because this is something else.
Now, I'll say this before the song plays, because like I was in his life when he wrote this, so like he would spit this to me like a lot, and like we would do like open mic nights and stuff like that. He would.
Oh my god, yeah.
There, and this is like just take it from me. The words on this, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, forget about it. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. My story. Here we go.
I kind of had this moment where I just like blacked out, pen took over, and I started writing this kind of biography about me for a couple years prior, during the years of 2000, 2001. Never was able to record it on anything, but had the opportunity to share with you.
Before changing age 18, I was dating this lady. I ain't named it, it was great and amazing. But towards the end, I made it crazy. Things began changing, cause soon the fight began daily. She basically gave me the ultimatum that she was still dating as long as I stayed clean and stopped blazing THC. No more medicating of sedatives and things I'm ashamed of stating. Engaged to change to maintain a relationship worth saving with the hate in me waging up again, feeding what major cravings. Having a quit was the hardest action you could give. For a month I actually did, but then I had to give in. Got back in the pit secretly beat smoke dash with my friends. Soon getting smacked wasn't it, so I tried something massively big. I took some caps with this kid and threw the bag full of stems. I was fast after this and became this radical trip. My mentality slipped. I asked where this acid had been. Where psilocybin's is shit and what a true psychopath is. The night after was win, then my girl heard of the news. To her the abuse showed I wasn't concerned with abuse. I perverted the truth. The night I ever did truth, but the evidence proved I lied with every excuse. I was very confused, but in the end she rejected me. This inevitably led me to the deadliest destiny. I became a threat to me, heavily obsessed with weed, steadily drinking and sniffing Percocet and amphetamines. What speeds up interested me, I seek bigger and better things. Moved on to the ketamine, PCP, cocaine, and ecstasy. But the shrooms and psychedelics seemed to be the very best of me. Eventually, my drug of choice was definitely LSD. Tossed my soul in K-holes, lost control over drinking, smoking, tripping, rolling, tripping, shrooming, sniffy, hippie, and candy flipping, dipping, not just swimming, I did anything to get me buzzing. But I never touched the heroin because it killed my cousin. R.I.P. to Jeremy, I love him, now we're both the people. Watch his own ending rebuild through dope and fucking needles. Illegal, something lethal must be tucked in these pills. Cut up the cerebral, forever stuck among these evils. I feel my end was near the spring of my senior year. It was a bad combination of ecstasy, speed, weed, and beer. It gave me C-shares and I nearly met my casket. The next thing my dumb ass did was pick up 10 tabs of acid. I mixed that with 2 11s with more shrooms and sex for breakfast. The shit affected all 5 senses and reflexes. I decided to shoot with my friends some more caps were invested. But the law took that from me at 420, but I got arrested. At first I didn't let them get the answers to the questions. I couldn't pin the shrooms on me until forensic science had them tested. Found a novelty knife and lighter on my person with confessions. So now I'm charged with the so-called possession of a concealed weapon. He wasn't teaching lessons. The reject police that was power through the following Monday. A bunch of cops knocked me out of school, so now the truth gets exposed. The whole family knows there's no humanity show. Slowly my insanity grows. The school board stated that there was no way for reinstatement, so they take my prom participation, erase my graduation, saying they may take me to prison because I am 18, afraid of getting raped. I was someplace in rehabilitation. Clean my act up, went back to the board to show my massive changes. Got back into the school, went to prom and actually graduated. I worked my ass off and gave those grades amazingly. Started work at the Air Force Pentagon Communications Agency. Some relax and no relax, and after that you know what happened. 9/11, Bin Laden, I jacked some planes, committed an attack on the World Trade Center. It was on the news in the intercom. See, I was at college, but my mom was at the Pentagon. She survived, but 3 of my coworkers died. When I realized was a friend of mine and mine incinerated alive, but I was unable to cry. The line and feel the pain in my life until the day that you fried. Couple of days it went by, I felt consumed in the cursed line. Girl I was dating tried to cheat on me for a 3rd time. Heard it before, my man said she tried to sleep with my close friend, but my ears were not open. Show thought they were joking, but the reality came. I swiftly dropped her in the pain. She could not stand the rain. Her family said she ran away. Cops brought her home, so she got fucked. Increased her PO sentence and was officially locked up. I didn't even see it when I heard, couldn't believe it. She really did cheat again, fuck my friends, so I officially succeeded. But that's not the only form of despair in this. A month prior to me, my girl explained to me what a miscarriage is. I apparently became a parent with no thought of having kids. God forgive me, cause that's not the plan that I have for it. Even though I'm compassionate, there's no way of imagining what it feels like to know your life and death were both accidents. My life a tragedy, you're actually building up the hate. As it flashbacks passively, sealing up my fate. My masterpiece naturally makes you suffocate. I wrote this up to take you through the past 2 years and bring you up to date. Rendition. Final copy. Understand.
That's why that's why I say that I've never met an MC like that guy before.
Oh my god, thank you.
Like,
Yo, man, like I'm actually kind of shaken. It's funny. I hate going back to that record, man. No, it's just like, fuck. It's you know what it is though. Like I think a lot of these cats that are doing these records, we're hearing it as entertainment, right? And so like we feel things and we're like, wow, that's really powerful. But you forget that the people who wrote it, they are writing about themselves, right? They're writing about shit that they've been through. So when any of those heavy records that you can think of, like Back to the Message, what Nas was going through when he wrote Undying Love, like you know that at some point people were literally crying pen to paper.
Yeah.
And
it happened to me when I wrote The Boy I Knew.
Yo, I mean, just hearing your story about the development of that, that is a fucking record. That is a record right now. You guys should go check out Collision of The Boy I Knew.
Check out all of us. And that's the other thing, man. We gotta get you streaming, motherfucker. We gotta get you streaming. We gotta get you
back on.
Re-record that shit with better fucking equipment to our beats or your beats, and then let's just do it, man. Because
I would love to re-record it like and have it where it's like really clean because you guys can hear it, right? Like I mean, there's parts where I'm like rushing through, catching up to the beat. There's parts where the ad libs are too loud.
So I mean, I could hear everything you were saying, you know.
Which is, I mean, at least there's that. I mean, that's hopefully people hear the bars, you know.
No, man, definitely. I mean, people that like our show are the people that listen to bars. You know what I mean?
Hey, guys, I gotta let you know we're come up on an hour now exactly. And also, John, is there any freestyle
Bars? Let me try. Turn this thing up. Turn it up. Oh man. Okay. Hold on. Yeah, that's good. We're sitting here rapping with this rapper's corner. Bring the beat down because it might be too loud, but don't matter. I'm still gonna rock this shit out here proud. They think they're gonna be able to stop it, but I'm off the topics like I was a gothic working that hot topic, but they don't really understand it because I'm out taking the planet out into a different place. I'm gonna change the whole gamut of this game thing. I'm doing this on the mainstream, streamlining this thing. You can't even play things not like I do. Welcome to my school, similar to nothing but shrooms and rifles. Blasting, happen, this thing, capping, no capping. There's no lying when I'm rapping. Doing what I do ever since 97. I gotta be the rhyming 9/11 when I'm bombing fellas. Hey, you wanna try to take away the pain? Don't really matter because I'm gonna bring it back again. Making sure that you can feel it in the major way and cut this whole fucking shit up like a razor blade. Nothing even think, yo, shout out to Taz. Singing that ass off, gonna miss that ass. But she's still doing it well because now she's been through hell herself and now it's time for me to prevail. Pause. Bringing back my breath again, don't really matter, Armageddon about to settle in. Hope you can feel it in all the ashes that happen right after this. It's gonna hide in your mattress, take a nap quick and be waking, thinking, you gotta be able to find it, get that waking bacon. Inside of this thing, I smell bacon. What the fuck is going on with this fucking bacon? Take it in and try to fucking suffer. I'm gonna take you under these covers without the need of rubbers, cause I'm gonna have to hit it and get it and travel through those outer limits. They can find the finer scrimmage, but it ain't a game. I ain't no major pain. This ain't no Damon Wayans. The way I spray the flames. You gotta get the fire hydrant and try to open your eyelids, cause you gotta wake up and realize that this is not life, bitch. Try to fucking see this, yo. Try to see. Okay, keep it going. It don't really matter to me, cause I won't stop it. I'm the kind of cat that can rhyme off topic. Keep it in your optics. Try to find the sausage that is buried inside of this fucking forest. But it's time to cook it, give a damn. Listen, man, it's time for me to figure out if I'm going to become the son of Sam. You wanna wonder when? You wanna try to do it? I'm moving through the sewers and I like all of the sewage. It might be nasty if you ask me, but I'm the cat that is rapping like he's got gas leaks falling out of the sky. I wonder why. Am I alive or am I just supposed to die? Open up your eyes, see if you can find a third time like Christ when he revived and try to take your life. Hey, try to find the flavor. This is what I've been doing, keeping it major. Just Johnny Warbux here to save you. That means I am your rapping savior. Okay, yo.
Yeah, that was wicked.
That was fun. Yo.
So
that was fun.
Like this guy can flow and he can do it off the top, and it is what it is. See, I can't do that, Junks, man. It sucks. It sucks. I'll be honest. Like hanging out with people.
Oh, yo, that shit. Damn. Yo, that you ain't. Yeah, it was tight. Warbux. Oh, that was tight.
No, for reals. Like that's what's up, man. But yeah, man.
Yo, thank you, man.
I mean, you know.
Do you remember though back in the day though, dog? Because like when we were trying to do this freestyle cipher shit, like we'd play games. We wouldn't just be like, all right, everybody get around a circle and let's do this. Like we would start challenging and be like, all right, I need you. I'm gonna tell you a story and I want you to rap about that story. Or I'm gonna give you a word and you rhyme off the word, but then we would take it a step further and be like, I'm gonna give you a word and you're just gonna rap about that word, right? Like we would like.
All right, let's do a little bit of that with no beat, just a cappella real quick. I'm gonna give you a word. You down?
You want to throw some words? Do it a cappella? Okay. I'll start it real nice and slow, like the rhyming flow from those guys from like 94, the Blackest Sheep.
Oops.
Change this catastrophe. It don't matter if you cut me. Turn my shit back up when I'm busting. Never fucking interrupt me. This is how it has to go when you hear something like Johnny, no Sandusky. This is Warbux. You could throw the words so that I can blow this herb and make sure that the flow is superb. So give me something, man. You want to say colic? You say colic?
No, Stalin.
Oh my Lord, man! You want me to be balling and to kill him off, man? Like I was fucking Joseph Stalin when I'm dictating this whole rhyme apartment. You don't want to see what happens when I get my bombs in. I'll take you all the way back to World War II, to World War III if I have to nuke you. You don't want to fucking find out this is the thing that I'm going to clean with my whole regime, because that's what happens with who? With who?
Post-it notes.
Oh, fucking dope, man. You know I got those toasty toast rhymes that flow for Chopin. It's time for me to put them on my paper, stick it like a post-it note. I'll have it up on the wall, and when you wake up tomorrow, you will see all the bars, and you'll be like, God, that is hard. And hard, so solid. He only had a few words and enough space to be able to post it like bluebirds flying up. He says, don't matter, I'm rhyme media. Inside of this place, I'm just a rhyming encyclopedia. The type of guy that doesn't need any type of social media because he's going to be able to have more words than Centipede does with their feet, because it's time for me to find it. Let's go ahead and alphabetically just try to identify it. Let's go into that encyclopedia, look up aardvark, and find out how hard show goes without the need of Noah's Ark. Let's double down and figure out how. I don't give a fuck about any of those fucking sounds. They're thinking they're hearing me, but they can't even clearly see the reality around them, these fucking cats and their conspiracies. I said conspiracy. You never let me clearly be the cat that's rapping and trying to get inside these scenes. I was getting there. You have to get prepared, because what I'm going to tell you, I'm going to blow the whole fucking shit in here. This shit is weird. You got to watch out. They got me. They probably are part of the Illuminati, and they thinking that they got it, but they ain't loving it. I'm telling you, fucking bitch, never trust the fucking government. This is all happening with things in the truth. Don't blast you from a fucking roof out of a phone booth, and you don't want to know, dude. What did you say? I gotta hear it. Say it again.
Sub-commander.
You say sub-commander?
Yeah.
What the fuck, the slander? I don't even understand exactly what the subject matter of that word is. Up in danger. I have to understand it, and I think that's someone who's in charge. It's time for me to figure out how to do it like the barge, by bringing one eyebrow to the next and make them connect, so that you can figure out whose neck needs to be flexed. You best protect. Because that's when I'm trying to run it. He's looking at his books, like literally looking for something. He wants to be able to give me a word that's so fucking crazy. He's going to be like, Assalamu alaikum, and then try to see if it sways me.
Rubicon.
A Rubicon? I don't even know what the fuck that is. Is that a Rubik's Cube, or is this like Comic-Con? What's going on? Yo, if I don't understand the fucking words or the knowledge, I'm not the guy who was out there doing the fucking college. I was out here on bards, bitch. And I still am selling my fucking alcoholic shit that I can. That's the Creek, man. That's so funny. Why don't you give me some words that aren't making me look like a dummy? I'm gonna, yo. So how about this, kid? I'm gonna throw one at you, man. Get the biscuit. I want you to rap off a supercalifragilistic.
Cucumber.
Cucumber? What do you mean? You talking about the vegetable that's crispy and clean and really green? I like that in salads, and I'm going to make them wonder when it's time for me to get inside of the salad, toss it with my cucumber.
No.
They wonder. Oh, fuck you, man. You want to be cumbersome? Take that cucumber and I have it wrapped around your waist like a fucking cummerbund. They don't understand, son. I have to keep it going. My flow is something that is going to protect you inside and set you like Trojan. So
I would want to battle you.
No, you don't know what battle? What the fuck? Y'all just fucking sheep and cattle. You're gonna be nothing but baby with rattle. You're nothing but a fucking tainted asshole. When it comes to my rap flow, you don't want to come against that. Stop acting bashful. Line them up. I'll kill 1,000 of them in one fucking burst. And that's how I have to do it when I'm rhyming with the verse. I rhyme it with a hearse. I bring it along with me, just in case I start killing these MCs off swiftly.
Post-mortem.
No, that's the depression. They want to try to get it, but that post-mortem is a lesson. You have to understand that when it gets that fucking question, you find the death inside of the breath that gets them. And so now you have to suffer from that post-mortem depression.
Spirit of Chris over here. Rigor mortis.
Okay, so we got to get, of course, this thing that's going to kill you slow like tortoise movements when you get that rigor mortis as it sets in. You don't even know it's gorgeous. Your skin's turning blue, and it's time to go and aboard this ship up to the next starship. This is what happens when you get hard. That's the hardest you'll ever be, rigor mortis, my God. That's how it has to be. Expialidocious. Yes, my rhyme's atrocious. You try to find it, but my style is so ferocious. So when you try to get it, you all fragilistic with your expa. That's funny. Oh man, what's happening? What's popping? I'm gonna be like Jack Harlow with my Mary Poppins. They think they're gonna be able to get it, but they don't understand it. They try to figure out if they're gonna change it with the planets. You want to give me some more fucking onomatopoeia? You want to drop something like that? You like rap about gonorrhea? Like what is happening here? One Mississippi or two? I don't give a fuck. I'm throwing you and your whole crew inside of that river. And dude, what'd you say? Orange, of course, because nothing rhymes with orange. I'm going to have to slow it down and then make sure that you feel the door hinge when it's time for me to make sure you turn all fluffy and orange, because you don't realize that that rhyme is not porous. I am gorgeous. And on the mic, what I do, no one can ignore this. So you just had me use a word that doesn't rhyme with oranges, but somehow it sounds like I'm doing it. Good Lord, bitch. How can they stop it? I can rhyme about anything that you give me. I don't give a fuck about the topic. You just hit me with a word and you're going to get fucking knocked quick. And that's what happens, man. The doors have to be answered. I'm talking knock, bitch.
Yeah,
all right. There, I can't think of a word unless I look into like my
look, guys, he's obviously got every word in the world.
Dude, sub-commander, bro. What's a fucking Rubicon?
I'm smooth like a salamander with my sub. I named them sub.
I just like the fact that like he was like so like desperate for words. He just looked at his bookshelf and was like, "Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Here's a good one." Mary Shelley, Mary Shelley. Hey, listen, Bram Stoker.
There you go. All right.
Hilarious, dude. That's fun, dude. I love it, man. I wish we could do more ciphers, man. I love getting involved in them, and obviously, I mean, I'm still kind of rusty. You can hear some of that thing.
We gotta make
more. No, for real. Yeah, I'm ready for records. I did. You sent me a beat not too long ago, and I wrote something to it, and like I texted you immediately. I was like, "Yo, I got it." I woke up the next day, and I wasn't even halfway done with it. I was just in a zone.
That was like 5 a.m.
I know. I was super excited.
Nah, man. No, it's always good having you, come to our thing, man, and still, man, like, me, like I said, me and Johnny here, and I don't think I would have been the MC that I am today if like we didn't kids, instead of that or the other, just fucking.
I mean, I know for me, it's the exact same thing, man. I mean, because we had such a balance. I was doing the higher and the faster and the little tongue dashes, but you had that old school and that like just giant voice. But like also, you were the one that brought in the politics, that brought in the darkness, and we started doing all of that Dead Poet Society shit. And that's where we were able to connect. And every time we try to do a Dead Poet Society record with other people, like there's a handful of them that are really dope. Like the one that's on this Johnny Warbux joint, it's got Kalishnikov, it's got me, it's got Mike Rockwell, it's got
Mike,
Taz.
The guy that we had,
last episode. Great episode, man. I really enjoyed listening to that and kind of learning a little bit more about the up and comings of Rockwell. That dude is a problem. He's a problem.
He's definitely got some skills, man, and anybody that comes on the show, and I'm not saying this because you guys are my boys, but I don't hang around with people who don't got skills. When they come to the MC, like I can hang out with you if you ain't got skills, but as long as we're like in this music and like thing that we got going on right now, like I only fucks with people with skills, So, and this goes out to anybody that fucks with me musically, like. If I don't like you, I'm not fucking with you. It's just
no. That's the truth about this guy. I mean, but hey, man, we're gonna go do the thing over here. Be like, nah, man, fuck that guy. Hit me up when it's over. I'll come hang out with you, man.
No, it's always been good, man, and like that, man, like being able to work with you, being able to work with the family. Our family is gigantic,
dude. It's as far as like the little local MC thing, it's crazy how many of us are actually in here. We're like our own little microcosm Wu-Tang Clan, Mm-hmm. It's really, really wild, really wild. I look forward to hearing what everybody else that comes through doing. I'll put the word out for some other like local MCs, maybe not like directly here DMV local, but like on that level, like they're local in their area, and get them on a stream with y'all and start hearing all these cool stories, man. This has been a fun show.
You know, something that's always talked
Yeah,
about.
most def. Thanks, man.
No,
Something
man.
always talked about when it comes to Virginia MCs or DC is that there is no love shown within the
I
Virginia
know, man.
and from Virginia outside. Trying to change. This is one of those things.
Yeah, we've actually been trying to change it forever. Back even from when we started, you remember, man? Like we go to Fairfax and they'll be like, "We don't want rap music over here because the crowd it draws," you know. And in
Right.
DC's all go go, you know. Even still to this day, like for the most part, you know.
Yeah. So like but it's always been we're trying to show that Virginia doesn't hate and DC doesn't hate, and this is the spot that
Yeah,
we're gonna talk to everybody from everywhere. As long as you got skill and you got love to get, this guy
yeah.
and
DMV.
everybody else, man.
All I'm trying to say is DMV got something to say. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Shout
I
out to
agree.
Andre 3000.
Yeah.
South got something to say.
We're making
DMV
a
got
spot.
something to say.
We're making a spot, but we're making a spot for here, but for everywhere,
All right.
Oh.
So let me ask you guys this before we wrap it up. Is there any last things you like to share with anybody before
Did you want to hear like a little top 10, like a quick run through?
I do have I do want to hear your top 10, and I want to hear your top 10. I guess we can just end it with this. I want to hear your top 10 from both like rappers and producers.
Okay. I mean,
Twist
okay. So let's we'll do the speedy version of it, so we ain't holding up the clock, right?
Got about 4 minutes.
Okay. Top 10 rappers. Eminem. Eminem. Slug from Atmosphere, dude. I mean, I love that shit. Eli from Living Legends. Very similar rhymes and reason for that. Big Pun. Big Daddy Kane. Inspector Deck from the Wu-Tang Clan. Prodigy. Mobb Deep. R.I.P. Razcast. Chino XL. Pharaoh Munch. I would say that those are probably my quick top 10. And then on the slick back end of it, I'll give it two like Tech Nine, King Crooked, Tone Deaf, Crazy Bone, Lord Infamous from 3 6 Mafia, Cool G Rap, LL Cool J, and yeah, I mean, I'm gonna also just like have one pocket for just Biggie, Nas, Tupac, because I know that those guys are always on the top and they deserve that, but I'm not gonna put it in my specific top 10, but I completely wouldn't be where I was without those guys.
Oh, nice. Super
so,
break.
So producers, okay. 10? Shit.
All right, let's go 5.
But I'll give you 6.
6.
I'll give you 6. I'm gonna do DJ Premier. All right. I'm gonna do DJ Muggs. I'm gonna do RZA from the Wu-Tang. I'm gonna do Dr. Dre. I'm gonna do Eli from Living Legends. I'm gonna do Ant from Atmosphere. But I'm also, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do Havoc from Mobb Deep. Yeah, I mean they deserve that spot too. So what is that? 7? 2? That's 7. Yeah. What other 3 do I got, man? I mean. No, those are the ones that really fucking come in and like hit me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh man, I mean I'll give it to the Snow Goons. Like those guys do some insane fucking work. Stoop. Jedi Mind Tricks. Beatmaker. That guy is fucking crazy. So that's, yeah. Well, I love Beat Nuts too, man. But like,
what Just Blaze?
I like Just Blaze. Look, I like Just Blaze. I mean, like, there's some of the most iconic records come from him, from the '90s and down. But I don't know, man. Those are the ones that really, really, really stand out. Logic's producer, I always forget this guy's name. No ID, I think. No ID. That guy's fucking insane. He's fucking good. I'll give it to him too. Oh, and this and I like Sir Puffalo. He'd be making some dope ass shit. This kid Kalishnikov would be making some shit.
Thanks,
no,
man.
And so yeah, it's always changing for me. I can never have a day where it's all the same every time. It just doesn't work for me that way.
That's the hardest. But that's the other thing is, I mean, next week if you were to bring me back on and be like, so John, what are your top 10 rappers? I mean, that list could fucking change, dude. I mean, my mood is different. I don't have a just all-time favorite because I mean I have ones that I'm really strong and passionate about, but the reality is, dude, there's just so much music out there to embrace and study, learn, and enjoy.
Yep.
And
gotta
be a
stay
part
listening. Yeah, you gotta stay listening. Well said.
Last thing for everybody, give out your info, man.
So
you can hear some of those freestyles and some of those like light bars over at Johnny Warbux on Instagram. If you go to Bandcamp right now and load up Johnny Warbux spelled just like it is right here, It's a Party Over Here record is there's a lot of great music on that. If you go to SoundClick, it's a little harder because I was ignorant and I put in all the fucking names.
You
But
can
if you
give
look
us
up,
the links.
I'll give you the links, but like Dead Poet Society, Johnny Warbux, you'll find it over there. That's where all my old stuff is, and I've probably got upwards of 100 records on that, ranging from high school and on. And that's some good like stuff to like go back and research. And if you're into this Johnny Warbux sound,
we got to thing, man. We got to make it legit. We got to put you on the streaming services.
Man.
Yeah,
I got to catch up with the rest of the world, dude. I'm a little behind. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got your back, man. For real.
Wu-Tang Friday.
All right, guys.
Oh,
thanks, Johnny Warbucks. Thanks for coming for this episode of the Rapper's Corner, episode number 2.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. And we hope to have you again soon. And
I look forward to it, man.
More than once. I want you to be all our homies.
We don't have to just talk about me anymore, man. I feel blessed, and I really appreciate you for gaslighting me. But I can't wait to come on here and just talk music or talk with other artists. I'm down.
Me and John have some projects that we're talking about that maybe can be done in the future, where it's me and John collabing on a type of podcast. But we'll see. We'll see where that goes. Just giving you guys a heads up over there in the outside world. We might be coming out with some other projects. Well, we'll always have projects, either music or the podcast or whatever you see us, and this is what we do.
We love the music, man. I mean, we could talk about this for the rest of the day. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but people got shit to do. So I think an hour and a half long video is enough to kind of wet your whistle on the Warbucks tip. But I appreciate y'all letting me on here, man.
Thanks again, John, for coming over today and being our guest. And man, that was an awesome interview.
That was fun.
Killed it, brother. Thanks, man.
See you guys out there. All right, one love.
All right, dog. Peace.
Ciao, guys.
Peace.